What is up? What is going on, everybody? I am back with the Seattle Mariners. The first place Seattle Mariners post game recap. The Mariners defeat the Royals tonight 7 to 5. We're going to get into all of it. They are now tied for first place in the AL West. I'm breaking it all down tonight. A wild night for the Mariners. Before I get into it, got to plug the channel. If you guys are new here, please hit that subscribe button. I'm just 10 subs away from 2,100 subscribers. Hit the like button. That just helps get the video out to more people. Lets YouTube know you're enjoying it, so other people might enjoy it as well. And don't head over to my channel page. Check out some of the membership info. Coming up this Monday night against the Oakland A's will be our first members-only live stream with a giveaway contest in there as well. So if you're thinking about it, head over, take a look, and if you want to, great. If not, no worries. Oh my gosh, the Mariners survived the Royals yet again. I swear that the Atlanta Braves go down easier than the Kansas City Royals do. This Royals team just unbelievable. They have drained us. And the Mariners are 4-1 against them, so they've gotten it done. But man, they have battled every single game, refused to go away, and they have been beyond pesky. I mean, in that ninth inning, I'd rather see Shohei Ohtani up there than Kyle Isbell. I mean, it is just insane how they have continued to battle the Mariners and just don't go down 1-2-3. But the Mariners get it done. As I've been saying, that there's no pictures on the scorecards anymore. It's an old golf saying. I'm using it here. No more pictures on the scorecards. You need wins. The Mariners get a big one. They improved to 72-56. Shake off a little of the dust from Wednesday. Guys, they're in first place. I know technically I believe the Rangers have the tiebreaker, but who cares? I'm only looking at tiebreakers when they benefit the Mariners. I'm not looking at the tiebreakers when it benefits the other team. I'm joking. I do think Texas currently has the tiebreaker, so they would be ahead. But, I mean, not who cares, it matters, but can you imagine 3 months ago? I didn't think there was a chance. And I'm pretty optimistic about this team. And I did not think they'd have a chance to catch Texas. I just thought there was too many games. Even if I thought Texas might come back a little bit to the pack, there just wasn't enough games in there to catch them. They're still good. Then the Mariners were at one point, I mean, I think when I was on vacation doing the videos from the hotel room, I think the Mariners were like 10 games back. That was a month ago. Guys, the Rangers actually, I know they've lost like 8 in a row. They're 17-16 in their last 33 games. The Mariners have gained 8 games on them in that span. Like the Rangers aren't even playing that poor. They're playing poorly right now, but just over the last month and a half, they're really not playing that bad. And the Mariners have caught them, and everything went the Mariners' way tonight. The Mariners win, which is always most important. Texas lost, Toronto lost, Boston lost, Houston lost, Tampa Bay lost. So everything broke right for the Seattle Mariners tonight. So let's get into the game for the first place Seattle Mariners. Let's break it down. As always, we'll start with the pitching once I can find my mouse here, and we'll get into the box score a little bit for this post game. So starting with the pitching, Bryce Miller, 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk, 6 Ks. Outside of that second inning, I thought he pitched all right. The second inning was a bit of a struggle, labored, gave up some hits, threw a lot of pitches. I mean, I'm almost, like, my gosh, at this point, I'm almost like giving pitchers a pass on their outings against Kansas City this year. I mean, I just don't know what it is. But I almost want to give every pitcher a pass for how they perform against Kansas City, but I'm not going to. I thought Miller was all right. Hard start to judge. I was okay taking him out after 4. I didn't mind that. He was at 83 pitches. Would have been okay trying to get a fifth out of him, but didn't mind it against the top of the order going to the bullpen. I thought Scott had a couple interesting decisions that I'll talk about here, but Miller is so hard for me to get a gauge on because you look at strikeouts to walks and it's always like 6 Ks, 1 walk, 4 Ks, no walks, but he's just so dependent on one pitch. And that one pitch is a really good pitch, but if it's not on and you can just time it, he has some rough innings. So, I mean, I think Bryce Miller's fine. I'm not upset with him or anything, but he's always really hard pitcher for me to get a gauge on in his starts. And the fact that he's being kind of limited, maybe if he wasn't, and this is next year, he goes 6 innings here, 3 runs, and I'm going, hey, he battled through a bad inning. Here it's kind of hard to judge it, but I mean, overall, fine. It stinks that the Mariners really had to burn through the bullpen today. That's not all on Bryce Miller, and they got a W. And you've got Logan Gilbert and Castillo going the next 2 days, so you should feel pretty good that you can get some length out of them. But yeah, overall, I guess I'd say Bryce Miller was fine. Isaiah Campbell, really nice inning. One of his best innings, I think, as a Mariner. He actually gets the win. He's 4-0. Win-loss doesn't matter. But, it's still the pitchers care about. So I always feel good for a pitcher when they get a W. He looked really good. Did he strike out Bobby Witt? He got Garcia. I think he did. He got Witt, I think, on a fastball. Really good pitch. When you look at everything, he was one of the real bright spots. Good to see. I like Isaiah Campbell. I think he's been pretty good so far. Not quite the guy I'm going to in the ninth inning, but I thought he looked really solid. I thought his last couple outings, he's looked really good. Gabe Spire was outstanding today in his one-shot inning. Got 2 strikeouts, got Melendez and Velasquez, who have both been pests to the Mariners all season. He got them. Matt Brash is not good. I was thought it was a little odd that Scott went to Spire in the 6th, and then Brash in the 7th. I almost wonder if you flip those there. Now, I will say, Brash faced Drew Waters. Waters would have batted righty against Spire. I don't think it was, the worst decision ever, and Matt Brash was not good. That's part of it, too. I thought it was a bit of an odd decision, but, boy, Brash was not good at all today. Gave up 3 barrels. Matt Brash has not given up a barrel since, June, and gave up 3 of them today. I think the Waters fly out was considered a barrel. The Isbell home run, Isbell home run, and the Witt triple. And even the Garcia fly out. Now, it wasn't hit as hard, but even that had some distance to it. I'm a little worried about Matt Brash. I'm not going to lie. His last few outings, the swing and miss hasn't quite been there. He hasn't been able to put hitters away. Again, it could just be the Royals. Like I said, I'm almost at the point with this Royals team. I don't want to judge any of these pitchers on how they've pitched against them. There just seems to be something going on with them. I'm treating them like the Atlanta Braves right now. But I will say, Brash obviously had a few days off. He leads the AL in appearances. I don't know if he still does, but he did for a while there. Last time he pitched would have been, he didn't pitch in Houston. Yeah, he did pitch in Houston. Looked okay there. Didn't look too sharp in Kansas City. Wasn't bad, I would say, but a little bit of a concerning outing for Matt Brash. I'm willing to take a deep breath on it and throw it away. Every pitcher has a bad outing, but not a sharp appearance for Matt Brash. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little concerned there. Saucedo came on, did a nice job, got the pinch hitter Duffy out. Justin Topa, man. Justin Topa and Gabe Spire are the 2 pitchers I trust the most in this bullpen right now. Can you imagine if we had a conversation in March and me telling you guys, yeah, come late August, early September, it's going to be Justin Topa and Gabe Spire are going to be the 2 guys you want to see the most in high leverage spots. Your first question might be, who are those guys? Waiver pickups and a trade that just kind of went under the radar that nobody talked about. But man, Topa was fantastic. The thing that makes Topa so great is he is just impossible to barrel up. Those pitches have so much movement that you cannot get any hard contact off him. He doesn't have a ton of swing and miss, but he also has decent strikeout rates. He throws a ton of strikes. That 2-seamer does such a good job of backing into the outside corner that he gets a lot of called strikes. But man, right now, Topa and Spire are the 2 guys I trust the most. Andres Munoz got the save. See, I told you guys Andres Munoz was fine in my video yesterday. Listen, got the job done. Good to see. Needed it. Got a save. Again, no pictures on scorecards. Kind of a tough outing to judge from Munoz. Did throw 26 pitches. Listen, the first hit by Beatty was a little dribbler that had 50 bounces and just got up the middle. Not mad at Munoz for that. That was a good pitch. And the exit velo on it was probably 45. There was nothing to that. That was a seeing eye single. I know everyone's tired of hearing that. I'm not trying to make excuses. I'm just telling guys what it is. I'm not making excuses for Matt Brash tonight. I did not think he threw the ball well. But Munoz in that at-bat to Beatty did what he needed to do. He got an easy grounder. It was just in the wrong spot. Then he got the ground out of Waters, which I thought for sure was going to be into right field for base hit. Nice play by Rojas. I don't think they had a chance to turn 2 on that. So good they got 1. Kyle Isbell, man. My gosh. He just spit on every single pitch, again, not trying to make excuses for Munoz's walk, but do the Royals swing at any pitches that are just a little bit out of the zone? And if they do, they foul it off 50 times. Munoz threw a couple really nasty pitches to Isbell that he just spit on. I mean, again, like I said it on Twitter, like they get Ohtani out easier than they get Kyle Isbell out. I mean, like Ohtani wouldn't have spit on those, but Kyle Isbell just spit on them. And again, not great pitching by Munoz. You need to get him out, but I mean, again, just good battle. But listen, Isbell did his job. I'm not taking that away from him at all. So there was that. Garcia hit a weak grounder, almost beat it out because of how fast he is, but a great play by Gino. They intentionally walked Bobby Witt, so that's the other walk. I'm okay with that to an extent. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit like, listen, if Bobby Witt beats you, it beats you. Last thing I want is for Mean to come up and clear the bases and make this 8-7. And that's just me being emotional. It was probably the right call to walk Bobby Witt there. And then Freddie Fermin, is that what it is? I want to say Felix Fermin. That was a pitcher, wasn't it? Back in the yeah, Freddie Fermin comes up with the bases loaded. And finally, a Royal swings at a pitch that wasn't in the zone. He goes after a fastball in on his hands, swing and a miss. So listen, the walk to Witt was intentional. You had a grounder by Garcia that ended up being a swinging bunt that you got an out on. Walked Isbell, not great. He did spit on some really good pitches. You got a ground out by Waters. You got a little dribbler up the middle from Beatty. Like, was Munoz great? No, that was, again, probably not 2022 Andres Munoz. But was he fine? Probably. Again, if that Beatty grounder, is an outer, if Munoz gets his glove down there, he kind of lifted, it looked like he could have gotten it, Munoz did, and then he kind of lifted his glove thinking that the infielders would have it, and it just got through. That ground ball is an out. Waters is an out. I mean, then you walk Ishbel and you get Garcia, and no one's really upset about that inning. So I think it did look worse than it was. I get it. I get people maybe not being 100% confident in Munoz right now. I certainly understand. But at the end of the day, he probably threw the ball okay. Just not looking at any big, analytical stats, just watching it, I think he was fine. I do. Topa was great. Saucedo was great. Really, honestly, the only guy in the bullpen that didn't look good today was Matt Brash. The rest of them I thought were all fine. So the pitching did enough. It wasn't great outside of, I guess it was okay outside of Brash. The offense, Maris pounded out 16 hits, 2 walks. They get 18 base runners in this game. And boy, did they need every single one of them. JP 3 for 4 with a home run and a walk. JP's back. His timing looked really good tonight. Thought it looked a little off in Chicago. Understandable. Missing 9 games and having a concussion. Didn't expect him to come right away and take off. So great game for JP. His 11th home run of the year. Led off the game with the home run. Julio Rodriguez 2 for 4 with the walk. The quietest 3 times on base game I've seen a player have. I mean, Julio just casually reached base 3 times tonight, and I really honestly didn't even really notice it. Gino 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs, the big hit with the bases loaded, and a huge run in the bottom of the 8th. Now, I mean, technically they didn't need it, but it certainly felt like they did, didn't it? Great game for Gino. Cal was 3 for 5. I didn't realize Cal had 3. I knew he had 2. I didn't remember the 3rd hit. Nice game for Cal. He had an RBI single. Teo was 1 for 5 with a double. Ty France 1 for 4. Dom Canzone 2 for 4, including a hit off a lefty, which was really nice to see. If he can be serviceable against lefties, it'll go a long way for him. Mike Ford was 0 for 2. Dylan Moore was 0 for 2. And Josh Rojas was 1 for 4 with an RBI single. And he just missed a home run in his first at-bat and just missed probably a double off the wall that our great friend Kyle Isbell tracked down, made a catch. The Royals can play defense. That's never been in doubt. And I said it last week, I actually don't think their lineup is that bad. It's not great, but it's really the pitching that's held them back. So, Rojas has been fantastic. Now, he's running a very high BABIP. He's probably not this good as he's been in the last 10, 15 games. But, man, what a nice addition, upgrade at second base that has been. Good to see Gino, that OPS up to 724, continuing to rise. Good to see that extra base power coming through in the bottom of the 8th and continuing to be clutch. Man, it's nice to have JP back at that top of the lineup with Julio. I mean, JP, Julio, and Gino combined to go, let's see, it's 13 at-bats, 3, 5, 8 hits, 8 for 13, 4 RBIs, a home run, and 2 walks. The top 3 got the job done. Actually, the top 4, because Cal also 3 for 5. So the top 4 really, really carried this team today. That's good. It's great when the bottom of the order contributes. That's awesome. But sometimes you need your heavy hitters and your best players to step up. And they did that tonight. Guys and gals, Seattle Mariners are in first place. They are in first place. I mean, there's some things tonight that were not great. I didn't like, if this team was 4 games out or something, yeah, this game was kind of a little bit, but they won. And you just need to keep winning. And if there was one game in the series I was worried about, I'm not saying they're a lock to win the next 2. Not how it works. But if there was one game I was a little bit like, I don't know, Bryce Miller against Brady Singer made me a little nervous. Singer is a legit major league pitcher. The guy they're facing tomorrow, Jordan Lyles, is really bad. Doesn't mean he's not capable. Every pitcher in the big leagues is capable of getting outs. So before anybody goes, oh, Jay, you're not jinxing it, but I'm just saying, like, tomorrow is a mismatch with Logan Gilbert versus Jordan Lyles, and I don't know who's going Sunday for the Royals, but likely not going to be someone as good as Luis Castillo. This was the game that was going to be the toughest to get. Now, it didn't quite work out that way because they actually did a nice job against Brady Singer and chased him. But bottom line, this was the one that I thought was going to be the toughest, and they pulled it out. They found a way. So hopefully tomorrow Logan can be on his game. They can get to Jordan Lyles, win this series, and keep chugging along. Because eventually Texas, Houston, Toronto are going to start winning some games again. They will. And, it's going to happen that they're good baseball teams. But, man, you want to take advantage while they're losing. And the Mariners absolutely did that. Let's look at the standings real quick because why wouldn't we want to look at the standings right now? So divisional-wise, I don't know if this MLB actually has, I don't know if it's alphabetical or not, but they actually have Seattle in the first slot. I don't know if that actually means Seattle's in first or just how they do it. But I think the tiebreaker's head-to-head, and Texas has that right now by a pretty significant margin. They're 5-1 against the Mariners. So there's a decent chance the Mariners will not have the tiebreaker over Texas. But, I mean, God, they're in first place. I keep saying that, but, I mean, you guys have been watching the team for years, right? When was the last time they were in first place this late in the season? Might have been 2001, honestly. I know in 2007 they flirted with it a little bit, but then you had the Lollapalooza, which killed them. And I think we've already passed when Lollapalooza was. They're a game clear of Houston in terms of the division, and we'll get to the wild card here as well, because it's still worth keeping an eye on the wild card. I want the division, guys. I want it. I do. But we also want to make sure, I also want this team to go to the playoffs too. So looking at the wild card here, the Mariners are 5 back of Tampa for the first wild card. The Mariners are currently the second wild card, tied with Texas for the second wild card, and they're a game clear of Houston. They are 2, and actually that's 2 clear of Houston because the Mariners have the tiebreaker over the Astros, and that cannot go away. Even if the Astros sweep the Mariners next time, the Mariners will have the tiebreaker over Houston. So the Mariners are essentially 2 games clear of the Houston Astros. I don't know how a 3-way tie works in the division. I'm assuming it's interdivision record, which Houston does have right now. Thank you to, I forgot who was on Twitter that told me, but thank you. Toronto is 2.5 back of the Mariners for a playoff spot, which is actually 3.5 back because the Mariners have the tiebreaker over Toronto. So technically, the Mariners have a 3.5 game cushion on a playoff spot right now. Just tremendous. Just tremendous. I mean, who would have thought that this team a month ago would be here? I mean, like I said, I've been about as optimistic as anybody, I think. We all have our pessimistic moments, but I believe this team was good. I defended their offseason. I defended their trade deadline. Doesn't mean I didn't wish they could have done more. I did. By the way, I want to be clear. Defending it doesn't mean I think it was perfect. I just think this notion they did terrible or something just wasn't true. And man, the one thing I kept hammering was the current roster has to get better, no matter what moves you want them to make, and they've done that. This offense has taken off. The bullpen has held serve without Paul Sewald, and we know how good the starting pitching staff is. I'll put the starting pitching staff, especially the top 3, I'll put it up against anybody. So, man, soak it in, guys. Enjoy it. Like I said, was this the prettiest win of the year? No, but does it matter? Like, does it really at this point with what we're going for? You know who would kill for a really ugly win right about now? I can promise you the Texas Rangers would love to have a nice little ugly win. Houston was up 1-0 with 2 outs and 2 strikes. 2 outs, nobody on, bottom of 9th with 2 strikes on Miguel Cabrera in Detroit tonight. They ended up losing 4-1. They would have killed for a nice little ugly win in Detroit. And those teams will bounce back. Toronto lost at home to the Guardians, who have been playing really poorly. Like, those teams are going to bounce back, but before we start getting too harsh on the Mariners wins, like a lot of teams would take them. Mariners are in great position right now. It feels good. It's been quite a party, hasn't it, everybody? It is turning into quite a party. I'm going to be here for all of it. I can't wait. I'm going to get going. Let's get another W tomorrow. Postgame might be a little bit later tomorrow because I think it's a 1 o'clock game. So I will not be home. So it's probably going to be a later postgame tomorrow. So I'll be back for that. Remember to like the stream, the video, comment. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. And don't forget to subscribe. Like I said, 10 away from 2,100. And then check out some of the membership stuff. Like I said, Monday night's our first members-only live stream for the game against Oakland. Should be a lot of fun. And there is a prize giveaway, which you become a member. You can head over to the members chat and see what that prize is. So have a great night, everybody. And as always, go Mariners. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll say it again. Have a great weekend, everybody. And go first place, Seattle Mariners. Take care, everybody. Peace.